Wildfires. They're terrifying. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah.
But you know what else rises from the ashes along with the smoke? It's incredible acts of human kindness. We're going to dive deep into 10 stories from the recent LA wildfires, and they really prove that even facing a disaster like this, compassion can be even stronger.
You know, it's like this shared vulnerability facing something as massive as a wildfire. It brings out a different side of people. We stop focusing so much on our own problems and become more in tune with everyone around us.
Yeah, definitely. So first up, we have Chef Andrew Gruel.
Oh, yeah.
He turned his restaurant into a safe haven for people who had to evacuate and first responders. He's offering free meals, which is already amazing.
Right.
But he's also offering shelter and a sense of community during all this chaos.
You've hit on something really important there. It's that sense of community. I mean, restaurants are already gathering places.
Yeah.
So in a crisis, they can naturally evolve into these hubs where people find support, they share information, and maybe feel a little less alone. It's fascinating how these businesses, even when they're struggling themselves, step up to offer some normalcy in the middle of all this chaos.
And it's not just him. There are so many other LA restaurants doing the same thing.
Oh, wow.
It's like this whole network of culinary care has popped up across the city.
That's incredible.
Speaking of networks, how about what Airbnb and LA211 are doing?
Oh, yeah.
They've teamed up to give free temporary housing to people who have been displaced by these fires. Just the logistics of something like that.
It's a perfect example of how partnerships between private companies and the government can be so effective in emergencies. You have Airbnb with this huge network of available housing and LA211 with their deep understanding of what the local needs are and the resources available. It's like they've combined a high-powered engine with an expert navigator.
I like that.
And, you know, you've been following this for a while.
Yeah.
Don't you thought this model could be used for other disaster relief efforts, too?
Oh, absolutely.
Just imagine if this became standard practice, what we could accomplish.
Totally.
Yeah.
Now, Planet Fitness is also helping in a different way.
Oh, really?
But it's equally important. They're offering free access to their gyms so people who have evacuated can shower, rest, charge their devices. It's just a bit of respite from everything that's going on.
This is such a great example of how we can repurpose things that we already have to meet these urgent needs. All of a sudden, a gym becomes a refuge, a place of comfort. Makes you wonder what other everyday spaces could be helpful in a crisis.
Yeah.
Imagine if a library became a charging station or a school gym became a temporary shelter. We just need to think outside the box.
So true.
Okay, let's switch gears a bit and talk about all the support that's coming from everyday people.
Okay.
We're seeing a huge increase in volunteers, especially with the Red Cross LA. They're managing shelters, distributing supplies, offering emotional support. I mean, talk about dedication.
The Red Cross is doing incredible work, of course, but what's really amazing is how many people are stepping up to help on their own.
Yeah.
It really shows that basic human desire to care for those in need. Whether they're donating time or money or just listening to someone, these individual acts of kindness have this ripple effect on the entire community.
And speaking of donations, there are tons of donation drives popping up all over LA, collecting everything from clothes and blankets to pet supplies.
It's just beautiful to see this kind of grassroots movement. It's you, the average person who sees a need and acts on it. It's not about bureaucracy or red tape. It's pure human compassion in action. And it shows that even the smallest things can make a real difference.
I love that. Okay, this next story might be my favorite so far. We've got ride-sharing companies like Uber and Lyft offering free rides to shelters. It's practical, immediate help, and it's something they're in a unique position to do.
It highlights how technology, which sometimes gets a bad rap for disconnecting us, can be such a force for good, especially during emergencies. Think about the potential this has for things beyond just wildfires, natural disasters, any kind of evacuation. This could be a model for how companies use their tech to provide quick support.
It makes you think, what other technology could we be using in these situations?
Yeah.
Now, this one is really heartwarming. We've got this anonymous donor who's been going around and distributing essential supplies like water masks, even snacks. And they're leaving these encouraging notes with them.
Isn't that amazing? It shows that even small, anonymous acts of kindness can have a huge impact. It's not about getting credit for it. It's about making a difference in someone's life, however quietly. And that's something each of us can do no matter who we are.
I totally agree. Now let's talk about the true heroes in all of this.
Yeah.
The firefighters.
Yes.
They're already risking their lives battling these fires. But the stories of how they go above and beyond are what get me. They're rescuing pets from burning houses. They're relaying messages between families who have been separated by the evacuations. It's just incredible.
Those stories really are incredible. They show how much compassion and humanity there is, even in the most stressful situations. It reminds us that we don't lose our humanity even when surrounded by chaos.
Exactly. Okay, last but certainly not least, we've got residents gathering for daily prayer circles. They're finding comfort and strength in their faith and with each other.
This just shows how much we need connection, especially during tough times. We need spiritual comfort. We need something that helps us move past the hardship. We find strength in our beliefs and rituals in our faith.
Yeah.
And that can be incredibly powerful when it comes to fostering resilience and healing together.
It's amazing how, in a way, these wildfires, as devastating as they've been, have sparked this outpouring of love and generosity.
It really is a testament to the human spirit. We have this incredible ability to adapt, to support one another, and to find hope even when facing these huge challenges. It's something worth remembering even after the fires are gone.
So we've seen how individuals, businesses, entire communities are helping. But what about the long term? The scars these fires leave, both physical and emotional, will take time to heal. So where do we even begin to rebuild?
That's the big question, and it's one that needs us to approach it from all angles. First, there's the immediate need for financial support. Donating to organizations you trust that are helping those affected is a great place to start.
I've seen a lot of fundraising campaigns online. Any tips for our listeners on how to make sure they're donating to legitimate organizations?
That's a great question. Stick to the organizations that have been around for a while and have experience with disaster relief, like the Red Cross, local food banks, and organizations specifically for wildfire recovery. You can usually find lists of verified charities on government websites or news sources you trust. And don't be afraid to look at an organization's website. Transparency is so important.
Great advice. So besides donating money, what else can people do to help in the long term?
Volunteering your time and skills is another way to make a real impact. Rebuilding homes, providing mental health support, offering legal aid. There will be so many different needs in the coming months and years, and everything helps no matter how small.
And what about people who can't contribute money or time? Maybe they live far away or have other limitations. Are there still ways for them to help?
Absolutely. Spreading awareness is really important. Sharing these stories of kindness and resilience, talking to your friends and family, even posting on social media can keep the attention on what's needed and encourage others to get involved.
And it strengthens that sense of everyone being in this together.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. Even something as small as sharing a news article or donating to a fundraiser can create this network of support that reaches far beyond just us.
I love that. Okay, I think this is a good place to take a break. When we come back, we'll finish up our deep dive into kindness amidst the flames. We'll look at some of the important things we've learned from these incredible stories. We're back and ready to continue our deep dive into these stories of kindness that have emerged from the LA wildfires.
You know, it's been really heartwarming to hear about how people have stepped up to help one another during such a tough time.
Absolutely. So let's jump right back in. Where did we leave off?
Oh, right. We were talking about how people who might not be able to donate money or volunteer their time can still make a difference.
Yeah, like spreading awareness.
Exactly. Even
Yeah.
something as simple as sharing a news article or talking to friends and family about what's happening can help keep the focus on the needs of those affected.
It's about keeping that sense of community alive, right?
Absolutely. And it encourages others to get involved in whatever way they can.
Okay, so we've talked about the amazing acts of kindness and the long road to recovery ahead. But I think it's important to acknowledge the emotional impact of these fires.
You're right. It's not just about rebuilding homes. It's about healing from the trauma and loss.
People have lost so much their homes, their sense of security, maybe even loved ones.
The fear and uncertainty of evacuation, the grief over what's been lost, these are things that can have a lasting impact on people's lives.
And we need to make sure there are resources available for mental health support, counseling, and trauma-informed care.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Both now and in the long term.
So much of what we've been talking about comes back to the power of community.
Yeah.
How can we harness that power, not just during crises, but in our everyday lives?
It starts with recognizing that we're all connected. Our well-being is tied to the well-being of those around us.
It sounds so simple, but it's so true.
It really is.
Yeah.
So how can we put that into practice?
Yeah, what can we do every day to strengthen those bonds of community?
It could be something small, like reaching out to a neighbor, getting involved in a local project, or volunteering at a community garden.
Anything that helps create a sense of belonging and shared purpose.
Exactly. It's about shifting our focus from me to we.
I like that.
It's recognizing that we're all in this together. We all have something to contribute, and we all benefit when we support one another.
Okay, so I want to circle back to something we talked about earlier, the role of technology. We discussed ride sharing, but what other technologies could be helpful during crises like this?
Well, we're seeing amazing advancements in drone technology that could be incredibly valuable for disaster relief.
Like how?
Imagine drones being used to survey the damage from the air, to find people who might be stranded, or even to deliver supplies to areas that are hard to reach.
That's amazing.
It's already happening in some places, and as the technology improves, it will only become more effective.
Wow, it sounds like something out of the future.
It kind of is. And then there's communication. During a disaster, the usual communication networks can get overloaded or damaged.
Right.
That's where something called mesh networking comes in. It allows devices to communicate directly with each other, creating a network that's more resilient to outages.
Okay, I'm not very tech savvy. Can you explain that a little more? What makes mesh networking different from using a cell phone?
Sure, think of it like a web where each device is a point on that web. Instead of relying on a central tower like your phone does, each device in a mesh network can relay messages to other devices.
I see.
So even if one connection goes down, the network can reroute the communication through other devices.
So it's like a built-in backup system.
Exactly. And it has potential beyond just emergencies. Imagine using it in remote areas that don't have good internet access. Mesh networking could bring those communities online.
That's really cool.
It's a technology to keep an eye on for sure. And then we can't forget about the role of social media during crises.
Right.
It can be a powerful tool for building community and providing support.
Like how?
We're seeing people use platforms like Twitter and Facebook to share information, connect with loved ones, organize donation drives, and simply offer words of encouragement to those who are struggling.
It's like this giant virtual support group.
Exactly. And that's something we haven't really had before. It's not just about sharing information. It's about sharing emotions, offering support, and letting people know they're not alone.
Okay, I think it's time to wrap things up. What are some of the key takeaways from these incredible stories that you hope our listeners will remember?
Well, I think the biggest takeaway is that kindness doesn't have to be some grand gesture. It's the small choices we make every day, the way we interact with each other, the moments of connection we create.
It's about recognizing the shared humanity in all of us, even when things are tough.
Exactly. You don't have to be a celebrity chef or a CEO to make a difference. Kindness can be as simple as listening to a friend, checking in on a neighbor, or sharing a message of hope online.
Like that anonymous donor leaving supplies and those encouraging notes.
Right. Small acts can have a big impact. And when we all do our part, those small acts can create a wave of positivity that transforms our communities.
It's like these wildfires, as destructive as they've been, have also sparked this incredible outpouring of compassion and generosity.
I love that. It reminds us that even in the darkest times, there's always light to be found, hope to be shared, and the power of human connection to make a difference.
So as we finish up, I want to challenge our listeners. What's one small act of kindness you can do today to make the world a little brighter?
It could be anything. Buy a stranger a coffee, leave a positive review for a local business, send a thank you note to someone who's made a difference in your life. There are so many ways to spread kindness.
And remember, kindness is contagious. When we see others being kind, it inspires us to do the same. So let's all make an effort to spread that spark, to create a world where compassion and generosity are the rule, not the exception.
That's a beautiful thought. And don't forget to share your own stories of kindness or those you've witnessed with us on social media at AI for the People. We love to hear from you and continue spreading the inspiration.
Exactly. Let's keep this conversation going and remind each other that even amidst the challenges we face, the human spirit can shine through.
And remember, even small acts of kindness can have a ripple effect. So stay safe, stay kind, and keep that flame of humanity burning bright.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into Kindness Amidst the Flames. Until next time, take care. Okay, so we talked about a lot today, exploring these incredible stories of kindness that have come out of the LA wildfires.
It's been pretty inspiring, hasn't it? Seeing how people, businesses, and communities have all come together to support each other. It's amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. So what really stands out to you from all of this? What's the one thing you hope our listeners will take away from this?
I think the most important thing to remember is that kindness doesn't have to be this big, impossible thing.
Right.
It's in the little things we do every day, the
Yeah.
way we treat each other, the connections we make.
It's about seeing the humanity in everyone, even when things are crazy and uncertain.
Hmm.
And it's something we can all do no matter who we are or what our situation is.
Exactly. You don't need to be some famous chef donating tons of food or a CEO starting a huge relief program. Kindness can be as simple as listening to a friend, checking in on a neighbor, or sharing a positive message online.
Like that anonymous donor leaving supplies and those little notes of encouragement.
Right. Little things can make a big difference. And when we all do our part, those small acts can build on each other and create a wave of positivity that changes our communities.
It's like these wildfires, as destructive as they've been, have also ignited this incredible outpouring of compassion and generosity.
I like that. It's a good reminder that even in the darkest times, there's always light to be found, there's always hope to share, and there's always the power of human connection to make a difference.
So as we wrap up, I want to leave our listeners with a little challenge. What's one small act of kindness you can do today to make the world just a bit brighter?
It could be anything. Buy someone's coffee behind you in line. Leave a good review for a local business. Write a thank you note to someone who's made a difference in your life. The possibilities are endless.
And remember, kindness is contagious. When we see other people being kind, it makes us want to do the same. So let's all try to spread that spark to create a world where compassion and generosity are just normal, not something special.
That's a beautiful thought. And hey, don't forget to share your own stories of kindness or the ones you've seen with us on social media at @AI for the People. We love to hear from you and to keep spreading the inspiration.
Exactly. Let's keep this conversation going and remind ourselves that even with all the challenges we face, the human spirit can really shine through.
And remember, even the smallest acts of kindness can have a ripple effect. So stay safe, stay kind, and let's keep that flame of humanity burning bright.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive into kindness amidst the flames. Until next time, take care.